stress can't really cause you to have any disease, but there are a few different scenarios, and they're right here. You could get real tired and fatigued and end up with some illnesses, some problems. They might not be directly caused by, but they are certainly triggered by, whether it's rheumatoid arthritis, gastritis. Things can cause, stress can cause a lot of flare-ups. It affects your entire immune system, so you're going to be more prone to every disease, illness, or problem, even if it's not caused by. There is lifestyle issues that come into play. And you hear about a type A personality or a type this or type that. We love to type people. I'm going to go over a few of them in a moment. And our inability to adapt, or our ability to adapt, is really critical. So those that are good adapters usually end up doing pretty well as far as suffering or not suffering, or managing versus not managing stress. I just typed up a couple of different personality types. I did this last night. I just kept typing. We just love to label everyone. And here's a few. Type A personality. And I'm going to go over that one in a few minutes. Because years ago, these Drs. Friedman and Roseman told us that if we live our life a certain way, we're going to be more prone to heart disease. We have a cancer-prone personality. People that are resentful, people that have repression or repressed thoughts, as well as feel depressed, are more prone to certain types and sites of cancer. It says Dr. Klaus Bonson. Years ago, I ran a conference out in Ambler. I had an annual conference there. And Klaus Bonson was one of the scholars I brought in to speak. And he did this whole article review, phenomenal paper on stress and cancer. And he said to 128 people, which about 90% were women in the healthcare field, he said, women who have repressed sexuality are more prone to certain types and sites of cancer. He's presenting information. He didn't have any reason to present it. He did a systematic review of the literature, and here's what he came up with. So some of the women got really pissed off. What are you talking about, repressed sexuality? And then all of a sudden, one woman raised her hand. She said, he's right. I have a repressed, I don't even know what repressed sexuality is. And I do have, and did have cancer, and he's right. And 7 women out of the probably 90, out of, that's how many women were there, it was about 100, said, he's right. There were 7 women out of 7 that stood up and said, I have cancer. And the sexuality thing, he's absolutely right about. Migraines, tension headaches. Let me just give you a quick. Tension headaches are muscle related, okay? You have your temporalis muscle, your frontalis muscles. You could have them in the neck. You could have them in the eyes. You have a lot of muscles here. And it's very simple. Your muscles get tired. They have to get rid of waste products. And when they don't get rid of waste products fast enough, you end up getting spasms equal pain, because you actually put pressure on certain nerve endings. Well, tension headaches, many people get them. They can hurt, but anything works with a tension headache. Relaxation training, yoga, phenobarbital, and ibuprofen, everything works. Closing your eyes, because as soon as you let your muscles kind of relax, you get rid of the headache. Migraine headache's totally different. But I don't want you to think migraine headache is bad headache, because that's what happened in society. We talk about migraine headaches like the evil headache. Well, anyone that has them knows they can be evil. But most people that have them are not diagnosed. Most people that have them say, I have migraines. Well, how do you know? I don't know. My doctor told me. That's not good enough. They have to measure. They do an EEG. There's a whole variety of things for it to be migraine. Migraine headache means blood is being trapped in your head and scalp. So here's what happens. I'm going to hit my hand on here, so don't get crazy, all right? So when you hear that, just the noise alone, blood will leave your hands and feet and go back to your vital organs, your heart, your liver, your lungs, your brain. Blood goes against gravity, actually, to see what's going on. Really what happened is you really want blood to go back to your heart so it could be pumped out, sent to your large muscles so you could run or fight, the fight or flight response. That's fact. But what happens is it also goes back to our brain. And you have an opening up, dilation of blood vessels. So you have a lot of blood going back to your brain when you're under a lot of stress, continual stress. Coaches continuously yelling at you. Wrong stance, wrong route, wrong this. And they're on your case, and you don't get it, okay? If you care, by the way. Remember, if you listen. So what happens is you have all this blood going back continuously. Then, do you know how blood goes against gravity? You have muscles, outside blood vessels that pump. They actually contract and relax to pump blood throughout our body. It's not that hard, pumping everything. That's what we believe. But you actually have muscles that help propel blood back to our vital organs. And what happens is they get real tired. So you go through 3-4 straight weeks of stress, whatever that is, day and night, exams, boyfriends, this. And then you're done with your exams. You're done with this. You have a little moment of peace and relaxation, and you get a migraine headache. Migraine headaches almost always occur after the stressful events in life, challenges. Your body says, all right, you put me through the ringer, now you pay. And it's almost always after. So a migraine headache is a vascular headache. It's when blood gets trapped in your head. Now, I don't want you to think it's going to fall out of your ears and all that. It's just trapped in connective tissue because what happens is the blood vessels moving blood get tired and they need time to relax. Unlike a tension headache, nothing works with a migraine. All they could do is provide you with some medication to thin your blood. You could learn some biofeedback, which teaches people how to relax and get more, move heat, warm their fingertip temperatures. What am I talking about? Forget that. We teach people how to warm their hands, which causes blood to be coming from our head and our vital organs back down to our extremities. There's pumps now. There's all types of things. They really don't work. Once a migraine headache starts, it must take its course. It affects one side of your head, not both. If you wake up with a headache, pretty good chance it was a migraine. It could last 2 to 3, sometimes even up to 4 or 5 days, usually not beyond that. People need darkness. They want to cut out all senses. They just don't want to hear anything. Everything is made worse. But that doesn't mean when you have a tension headache, it doesn't hurt just as much. We kind of put a value on this thing. As far as a profile of a migraine headache sufferer, for some reason they're super achievers. These are the people that are very organized. They stack their money at night. Chopin, a lot of musicians. It affects women 3 times as much as men. 5 to 7 million people a year, are diagnosed with migraine headaches. 3 to 1 ratio of women to men. Now we have kids 3 and 4 years of age with migraines. We never had them before because parents would never bring their kids to the doctor thinking that they could have migraine headaches. But they have stress too, and their bodies can get tired too. So what's a migraine? A vascular headache. Remember, it affects one side of your head. You could feel a headache coming on. You have an aura where you have flickering lights. You might have an eyelid that's shaking. It's almost like a mini stroke that people can feel. If you know that one is coming on, there are things you could do to reduce its intensity and duration. You just can't stop it from occurring. It costs industry about $8,000 to $10,000 for a year for every person that has low back problems. Many people have it. I'm just going to give you 4 or 5 causes of low back problems. There's no one cause. One of them, I could say with certainty, is obesity. 2 out of every 3 Americans are overweight. 2 out of 3 Americans are overweight. Not 20%, 2 out of 3. 300,000 bariatric surgeries occurred last year. Those are bypass surgeries because people are extremely large. So obesity is a cause of low back problem. It's a very simple problem as far as obesity because you just have too much weight that's putting strain on your large muscles in your back, your latissimus dorsi muscles. So when you have low back pain, you're actually pulling. It's not your discs. You're not damaging your discs. That's a different problem. But you're actually causing so much strain on your large muscles in your back. You know what those large muscles are, that they need to rest. So for an obese person, they can only work a certain amount of time before those muscles need to rest. Posture is number 2. There are some people born with scoliosis, kyphosis, all these things. So posture is very important. They find that people with poor posture, whatever that means, when the doctor or the physical education teaches you, tells you to stand up against the wall, and posture matters. We should teach people better posture for many reasons, many reasons. And now the one that it's not for is for osteoporosis. Don't get crazy now. Posture has this, it's okay. But as far as low back pain, it's one of the causes. You have people that have physiological abnormalities. My daughter had to have her spine straightened surgically, like an erector set. Open up the spine, straighten it out, because if it's left at a very bad angle, like if your spine isn't at a certain angle, later on in life it can affect respiration and things like that. Posture, number 2. Obesity was number 1. 3, muscle imbalance. Now, everybody's working out now. Everybody's pumping iron. You see them at the gym. I watch them. I don't actually do it, but I go to the gym. And everybody seems to have gotten this strength training is important. Except if you build up one side of your body more than the other, if your right side is stronger than the left side, there's a pretty good chance you're going to have low back problems. So muscle imbalance is a big issue. And the more people that are involved with training, and no offense to any of the trainers that work at LA Fitness and those other places, but you need someone that understands that, not everything is equal in your body. So you need to be careful. And it's not the straw that broke the camel's back. This is a myth. Everyone thinks, oh, I lifted something the wrong way, wrenched my back. Ladies and gentlemen, your back was ready to rip. You probably already had soft tissue that was tearing. If they did an MRI on you, they'd see it already. It's just that one event that you can identify. Oh, I got out of bed and that was it. That didn't do it. It was a whole history of events leading up to. Same thing with herniation. Doctors, oh, what, did you lift something heavy? Ladies and gentlemen, at birth, you're born with, well, never mind. We don't want to go down there, but it's the same deal. It took many years to rip that tissue in the inguinal canal. So anyway, backache, you have posture, you have obesity, you have muscle imbalance, you have inequity in strength on different sides of your body. And the last one, the biggest one, the one that I can guarantee is pregnancy. You try walking like this, because that's how hard it is to walk when you're pregnant in your 7th, 8th, and 9th month. I can almost guarantee low back ache and pain for women at that time. And it's not, you give birth, and your body, remember, it adapts. It almost gets used to it. You got to get used to it, a while for how to stand up straight again. Guys should always walk around for a good hour or two, and maybe they'd have more sympathy. So those are some of the things regarding backache. There's only one treatment for low back problems. Unless you have a physical problem like a disc problem where you need to fuse bones, or spine issues, or tearing of tissue, it's only bed rest and a firm mattress or whatever. That's it. And ibuprofen, of course. That's for everything. Okay, so there you have a couple of diseases or illnesses. There'll be more, all right?